Unboxing Star Trek Vintage Paperbacks, Part 3 of 4. Hi, I'm Gary Lovisi, and this time we're going to take a look at the never-ending Star Trek paperbacks that I have. Boxes and boxes and boxes of them, because I collected them and I love them, and I was going to do a bibliography on them, but there's just so many that it just got out of hand. But I still have them, many of them put away in these boxes that I put away years ago, maybe even like a decade or two ago. And we're going to open them up and look and see what goodies are here from various Star Trek series, from the shows. And so we'll start off, see what they are. First one is Star Trek from the original TV show, number 57, pocketbook, and it's The Rift by Peter David. Peter David wrote a lot of Star Trek novels. Next one, these are all probably from the 80s. This is another pocketbook Star Trek novel by Greg Bear, science fiction writer. Next one is The Final Reflection, Star Trek novel number 16 by John M. Ford. So a lot of these were written by science fiction writers and not just people who wrote Star Trek books. And you can see, so this is Star Trek Voyager number 4, book number 4 in the series, Violations by Susan Wright. So this is number 4 in the Voyager series. And this shows you, just gives you an idea of all of the books in the various series at that time that this book came out. And this book came out in 1995. So that was, 20, almost 30 years ago, this number 4. So there's a lot that have come out. There's a few, there might be 1 or 2 that have come out since then. Book 1 of 3 of My Brother's Keeper. This is Republic. Book 1 of 3 in the series. So original Star Trek, TV series based on the original Star Trek TV series. And there's a lot of series within the series that make it very kind of a bibliographical nightmare, but it's is what it is. There's a lot of Star Trek books. This is Renegade by Gene DeWeese, number 55. It's a good science fiction writer. 52 is Home is the Hunger by Dana Kramer Rolls. So some of these names I don't know that well. They're people who wrote Star Trek novels just for the paperback series, and then others who were acknowledged science fiction writers who have written a lot of books and then also written some Star Trek novels, which those are the better, the science fiction writers that usually do the better books. Star Trek Legacy is number 56 by Michael Jan Friedman. He's also, like Peter David, who's written quite a lot of Star Trek novels. Here's another one of his, Faces of Fire, number 58. Originally, pocketbooks published their Star Trek books as Timescape books. So they were pocketbooks, Timescape. This is Star Trek novel Blackfire by Sonny Cooper. This was a pretty good book. I read this, I liked it. So this is the Timescape logo. And then, there was next one of the later ones. These are early ones. They're not numbered. This has a Boris Voyager cover. It's from 1983. This is Mutiny on the Enterprise. This was good. Robert Vardman's a good science fiction writer. Now you see the Timescape logo is kind of, it was prominent. Now it's less prominent. Then it's just going to go away altogether, and these will just be pocket books. So here you see Star Trek number 4, The Covenant of the Crown by Howard Weinstein. This was also a good book. I read this one. It was very good. So now it's just pocketbook. It's number 4 in the series. So it went from Timescape to pocketbook. The Rift I don't know, do we have the Rift? I thought I saw the Rift. Yes, I did see the Rift. So, we have the duplicate on the Rift. Okay. I'll put these on the side.
Well, why don't you show? Oh, you showed us those. Okay.
Yeah.
That one looks like it's in a little bit better
One's
condition.
better condition than the other, but I think.
Well, let us see the one that's not in the bag. It might be easier to see.
Yeah, the one not in the bag. And this is by Peter David, and it's from Paperback Original from 1991. The thing is, a lot of these pocketbook paperbacks for all the series were, I'll just leave it here, were paperback originals. So these are the first time that these books have been in book form. Okay, here's another interesting. Okay, so we had Mutiny on the Enterprise, which is the Timescape logo. Okay, so this is the pocketbook logo. It's number 12. Same book, same cover art. Same, a little bit of different coloration. But the difference, you see the Timescape logo, now it's a pocketbook. Also, they had no numbers. This is number 12 in the series. So these were reprints. Similar thing is Yesterday's Sun by A.C. Crispin. This was a good Star Trek book. Spock goes back into his past. It was a pretty cool, like a young Spock as a Vulcan in the past with Vulcans. And again, it's a Timescape book. Has no number, but it was reprinted, and the reprint does not have the Timescape logo anymore. It's pocketbook, and it's got the number on it, number 11. So you can see the differences in some of these books. Triangle is number 9 by Sondra Marshak and Mina Culbreth. That's another. They're a writing team that wrote a lot of good Star Trek books. This is one I particularly liked, The Trellisane Confrontation by David Dworkin. David Dworkin's a good science fiction writer, and this is his book in the series. I believe a lot of these are Boris Vallejo covers. At this period in time, they were using him as a cover artist. So now I'm going to move these over and go on to some others. Star Trek Voyager number 16, Battle Lines. And this is from the Voyager series from 1999, paperback original. Star Trek The Next Generation number 16, Contamination. So you have Star Trek, the original series, Star Trek Deep Space, Star Trek The Next Generation, Star Trek Deep Space Nine, Star Trek Voyager, and there's probably some others also. A TV series that had paperback tie-ins, novels. This is number 10, Web of the Romulans by M.S. Murdoch. I remember reading this. This was pretty good. And The Wounded Sky by Diane Duane, a very well-known science fiction writer. That was a good one also. The Disinherited, Star Trek number 59. The Enterprise faces a deadly alien fleet. This is by Peter David and Michael Jan Friedman and Robert Greenberger. So it's 3 authors to do this one, with Uhura on the cover, which you don't usually see a lot of them with Uhura on the cover. Looking very nice there, very cool. Deep Space Nine, Star Trek War Child by Esther Fresner. She's also a well-known science fiction writer, written a lot of things. She's written some Sherlockian books also. And Star Trek Deep Space Nine, number 27, A Stitch in Time. Now I'm going to put that box down, and we're going to go to yet another box, because that's what unboxing is all about. These I don't know too much about. I think these are young adult books for kids. This is Starfleet Academy #1, Worf's First Adventure, Star Trek The Next Generation. This is a digest size paperback by Peter David. This is paperback original from 1993. And now we're going to get some more of the Star Treks. A Call to Darkness, Star Trek The Next Generation #9. This looks like a scene from John Carter of Mars. John Carter fighting Tharks or something. Another copy of Triangle by Sandra Marshak and Myra Colbreth with the Boris cover, 1982. Timescape book. Star Trek Deep Space Nine Betrayal, #6 in the Deep Space Nine series. Star Trek The Next Generation Imzadi by Peter David from 1993. Most of the books you're going to see today in these unboxings are going to be from the 80s and 90s. And they're already more than 20, 25 years old. It's amazing where the time goes. Star Trek 65, Windows on a Lost World. And again, these are Star Trek based on the original series. Star Trek The Great Starship Race by Diane Carey. Competition turns deadly for Captain Kirk and the crew of the USS Enterprise. I guess they're having a spaceship race. I don't know. Some of these books are better than others as far as reading and as far as the story goes, characters. Star Trek The Next Generation #1, Ghost Ship by Diane Carey. So this is the first one in the Star Trek Next Generation series from 1988. There's a little #1 there. Star Trek The Next Generation, The Children of Hamlin, and that's #3. Star Trek #16, Contamination. I think this is a dupe. I think we saw this before. Star Trek The Next Generation Reunion by Jan Michael Friedman. That might also be a dupe. I'm going to put these on the side. There are duplicates in these. Amalgamation of Star Trek books. This is Star Trek #95, Riansu, book #3, Sword Hunt by Diane Duane. Now, this is a more recent, at least as far as, this is from 2000. Again, paperback original Star Trek. So it's number 95 from the year 2000. And this is yet another series, mini-series in the largest overall series. This is Sword Hunt, and this is book 3 in that series. Star Trek Voyager Equinox. This has 6 of 9 on the cover. And this is a novelization of 2 episodes of Voyager. The Great Starship Race. Okay, we got 2 of these. So I'll put those on the side. Star Trek The Next Generation, #51, Double Helix Infection by John Gregory Betancourt, the publisher and owner of Wildside Press, who also has written some various science fiction books. This is book 1 of 6 in this sub-series of Star Trek The Next Generation, the Infection sub-series. So many different sub-series, it's amazing. Star Trek The Lost Years, the missing chapter in Star Trek history revealed at last, The Lost Years by J.M. Dillard. Let me see when this is from. This is from 1990. This is a reprint. It was originally a hardcover. So there was a few of these came out originally as hardcovers, but not that many. Children of Hamlin, this is a dupe. Perchance to Dream, Star Trek The Next Generation, number 19, with Data and Counselor Troy. Two characters that I disliked very much. Star Trek The Next Generation, Metamorphosis, the first giant novel by Gene Laura. The boldest adventure of all. And it's from 1990. Fortune's Light, the number 15, Star Trek The Next Generation. I think they should have got rid of Picard and they should have had this guy.
He looks like Kirk.
They should have had him as playing
captain.
the Kirk part of just the regular captain. I think that would have been better, but you know, maybe Picard could have been like a counselor or something, but I don't know. Here's another duplicate. So we have a few duplicates here and there. The Romulan, the Star Trek The Next Generation, 26 and 35. The Romulan Stratagem by Robert Greenberger.
Those are different covers, but they look like the same
Yeah,
cover.
I want to show that because this, you know, you see, this is number 35, and this is the earlier one, The Romulan Prize by Simon Hawke. And Simon Hawke is a well-known science fiction writer and a good one. He's written a lot of good books. I think his name is Nicholas Yermanikov.
Easy for you to say.
Yeah, well, thank you. And this is Romulan Prize number 26. And the covers, so they used Picard's head and they just, I guess, photoshopped in different guys next to him. And the next one is Doomsday World number 12. I think we've shown this before too. So that's all of them. And we're going to go to another box because there's always another box. I'm going to put these on the side because these are duplicates. And I'm going to take another box from the never-ending, well, actually the almost ending pile of boxes. And they are heavy. Okay, so do you want to do this as a part 2, or we just keep going?
Yeah, keep going. What the heck?
Yeah. Okay. So there's no part 4 then. There's part 3. The Star Trek Interview Book by Alan Asherman. All new interviews with the original stars and crew of the entertainment phenomenon. So here we are, Star Trek Interview Book with all the stars being interviewed and various photos from the show. The classic original show, I should say. And the Star Trek Quiz Book by Michael Maglio, featuring questions and answers from the famed television and movie series. So this, and pocket book. This is a quiz book. Saw some pictures here. Photo quiz. Different photos from the show. Which episodes these photos are from. So those are trade paperbacks. Next ones are is Enterprise. And I think this is the Enterprise show. Was another series based on the Star Trek Enterprise. And this is from 2003, paperback original. Serac Soul. Star Trek The Final Nexus, number 43 by Gene DeWeiss. And Star Trek number 7 for the Next Generation, Masks by John Vornholt. Now we got a bunch of these. These different digests Two. 1, 2. So there's Star Trek Deep Space Nine, Star Trek. I'm trying to sort them. Starfleet Academy, Next Generation. So there's two these are Star Trek Deep Space Nine digests by Brad Strickland. All these are for younger readers. They're from around 1994, 95. So there's the Star Ghost, that's number 1. Deep Space Nine, number 2, Stowaways. These are both by Brad Strickland. And then you have Star Trek The Next Generation, Starfleet Academy series. And these are by first ones, early ones are by Peter David. So number 2 is Line of Fire by Peter David. And it's the third one, number 3, is Survival. So these are for younger readers. Basic, you can see the type is bigger. They're illustrated. They're kind of cool. They have illustrations in them. The next one is Starfleet Academy number 9, Nova Command, and these are by Brad and Barbara Strickland. And number 8 is Starfall. A young Jean-Luc Picard faces his most difficult test. And there he is. I guess this is him young with hair. So these are younger, our Star Trek heroes when they were young. Now I'm going to go through some others here. We have Mutiny on the Enterprise. I think I already showed that one. With the Timescape logo, though. Here's another one, The Covenant and the Crown, with the Timescape, the earlier Timescape logo. Doctor's Orders, number 50 by Diane Duane. Nice. Looks like a Boris cover. I'm not sure. By Spock and McCoy. That's pretty nice. Star Trek The Next Generation, number 25, Grounded by David Bischoff, another well-known science fiction writer. And The Tears of the Singers by Melinda Snodgrass. This is number 19. This is a good book. This is a story about Uhura. Star Trek number 71 is by Barbara Hamley, Crossroad. She's another well-known science fiction and mystery author. Star Trek number 84. And this is Assignment Eternity by Greg Cox. And this is Gary 7. You may remember Gary 7 from... actually, it was an episode of Star Trek which was supposed to be a pilot for a separate series, but it never became a series. So there was just that one, and then this is him coming back, which is pretty cool. It was interesting. This would probably be a good read. Number 36, Star Trek. How Much for Just a Planet? Don't know what that's about. It's not Harry Mudd, I don't think. And second book in the Lost Years saga, number 54, Star Trek, A Flag Full of Stars. Kirk and a Klingon. Next one is Star Trek, The Better Man, number 72. Dr. McCoy must save the life of the daughter he never knew. He never knew her. Star Trek The Next Generation, Survivors, number 4, by Jean Laura. And Star Trek Section 31, Cloak, by S.D. Perry. So I don't know what that's, one of the newer books. So I'm going to move these out of here somewhere. Or should I move them?
You don't want me to answer that.
Move them over here. Okay. And still yet more books. Star Trek Fortune's Light, number 15. This might be a duplicate that we've seen before. Star Trek The Next Generation, number 7, Masks. You may have seen that before. Time Warp by David Dworkin, number 40. So some of those were with the Timescape logo, and then they were reprinted with the pocketbook logo with the number. So there's different variants on some of these. Corona by Greg Bear. The Dreams of the Raven by Carmen Carter. This is number 34. And The Cry of the Onlys by Judy Klass. Captain Kirk must confront the ghost of his past to prevent a catastrophic war. So I'm thinking this might be when they went to that planet with the Onlys. Miri might be somewhat based on that story. One more box. And here we go. They're getting heavier as we go along. Okay. Everything you wanted to know about Star Trek paperbacks, or at least seeing images of them. Star Trek, the Captain's Daughter by Peter David. This is number 76 with a Sulu cover. Star Trek number 59, The Disinherited. I think that might be one we've seen before too. Pawns and Symbols by Majlis Larson. This is number 26. Mind Shadow by J.M. Dillard. It's a Boris Vallejo cover. Most of these, I think, are Boris covers. Dreadnought, number 29 by Diane Carey. Boris cover too on that. A New Legend is born. Star Trek Voyager. Caretaker, with an exclusive 8-page photo insert by L.A. Graff, based on a script by and the story by the show. So it's on the show. So I'm not going to read who the script people are, but it's based on the original script from that episode. Shadow Lord, Star Trek number 22 by Lawrence Yep. And that's the Boris cover. Star Trek Deep Space Nine, book 304, Invasion, Time's Enemy by L.A. Graff. And this is from from 1996. And this is Invasion, First Strike, book 104. So here's the other one in the series. There are two of them anyway. And The Dwellers in the Crucible is by Margaret Wander Bonanno. It's number 25 in the Star Trek series, another Boris Vallejo cover. And I'm going to move these over here somewhere. Move them over here. And we're going to go one more stack. One more stack. Star Trek Deep Space Nine, number 12, The Laertian Gamble by Robert Sheckley. Robert Sheckley wrote a Star Trek novel. That's definitely one to read. He's a great science fiction writer. Ishmael, this is number 23, by Barbara Hambly. I think we've shown this already. Right?
Oh.
Star Trek.
They all look alike to me now.
Star Trek Deep Space Nine, The Ferengi, Rules of Acquisition by Quark. That's Quark on the cover. This is like a little thin little pocketbook item. And it's got the Ferengi rules of their rules of being really nasty traders and always winning. And that's Quark on the cover, which I was never a big fan of the Ferengi, but
I just call him Butthead.
yeah, well, he does look like a butthead. Star Trek number 47, The Kobayashi Maru by Julia Ecklar. Young Kirk, Spock, and Kirk, Sulu, and I don't know, is that Chekhov?
I think that's Scotty.
Scotty, yeah, Scotty. And it's a Boris cover. Star Trek Memories by William Shatner. This is
Sure it is.
his memories. His well, he probably wrote this one. This is from 1994. This is his memories of the TV show. Star Trek The Lost Years, J.M. Dillard. We've seen this one before today. Star Trek Deep Space Nine, number 3, Blood Letter by K.W. Jeter. Another great science fiction writer. So you got Jeter and Shackley. Also Laurel Hamilton wrote a Star Trek book. There's a lot of people that have written some great authors who have written Star Trek books because they're just fans of the series and they love the books and the shows. But also there's a lot of other authors, some of them good, some of them not so, and some of the work is of various quality. But this is Deep Space Nine, book 1 of the 3. This is number 24, Rebels. So it's the Rebels series, book 1 of 3. I don't know who any of these characters are. It's Deep Space Nine. Star Trek Voyager, Mosaic by Jerry Taylor. And this has a really nice foil cover. Star Trek Klingon, including special bonus behind-the-scenes look at the making of the CD-ROM. Novel by Dean Wesley Smith and Christine Catherine Rush, based on the script by Hilary Bader. So this is based on the CD-ROM, and it's by the people that published Pulp House. This is Star Trek Best Destiny by Diane Carey. It's a long-awaited story of young James T. Kirk's first adventure in space. His first adventure. He had many more. Star Trek The Fearful Summons. This is a stunning sequel to Star Trek VI, The Undiscovered Country, by one of the writers of the film, Denny Martin Flynn. This is number 74 in the series. This might be an interesting book. Star Trek Next Generation, The Devil's Heart, by Carmen Carter. And last one, but not least, is Star Trek Next Generation, Descent, novel by Diane Carey, and it's also based on a story from the TV show. And there you have it in 3 parts. Star Trek unboxing of a huge accumulation of paperbacks. You want to show the pile on the table here? Just to give people a look. Big pile of books on the table. Some of these are dupes, and there's a lot I have to go through. But these were put away 10, 20 years ago. And they're all like 20, 25, 30 years old, somewhere around there. And they're really cool. I like them, and looking forward to reading a few more of them and going through them and collecting them and saving them. I hope you enjoyed this look at the various Star Trek paperbacks that tie in with the various Star Trek TV series. And if you do, give us a thumbs up, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for looking.